This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. It's great to have you with us. The Minister of Immigration and Foreign Affairs was on Grand Bahama yesterday afternoon for an informational meeting with members of the Pastors Forum. The minister sharing information regarding unemployment among the youth and how that issue can be addressed. Megan Shepard reports.
Minister of Immigration and Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, called the meeting a rare occasion to engage the civil society in the business of public policy. He notes that Thursday's forum was strictly for information purposes for the pastors, as they have a great deal of influence over their congregations. Minister Mitchell addressing a number of issues.
There's been some pushback to the government's policies on immigration here in Grand Bahama. I think they wanted to understand what that's about and what motivates it and what it's designed to do. We are concerned that youth unemployment is too high. That needs to be improved. And so the policies are designed to put the people of Grand Bahama back to work, and in particular the young people.
He says the plan is to convince the business community and industrial sector to buy into the proposition that Freeport is a place where they can successfully make money and that they must take steps in order to make that happen. He says when a community is thriving, there is a completely different atmosphere, and he wants young people to know that this is a country where they can grow and live while supporting themselves and their families.
We want people not to be depressed about the place they're living in, that they're happy to be here. And what is most important is to give the younger ones, because it's all nice and good to talk about 40th anniversary of independence and this is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and we love it and all the rest of it. But what did I started out with the proposition that migration is the natural state of man. So eventually, if the young man or young woman cannot make a living here, what do you think they're going to do? One recourse will be to try and take it from somebody who has it, or another recourse will be to get on a boat and go to another country.
He says one of the issues with Grand Bahama is developing skills.
Training is an important part of it. There's going to be a brand new hotel opened up here in the wintertime, and you've got to have people who know how to do the work which is required at the skill level which is going to be required. I mean, this is just not going to be an ordinary hotel. This is supposed to be a 5- or 6-star property. So it's going to be very important that the skill set is at a very high level. So that takes training. And then in the industrial sector, there's a high demand for work to be produced from here at a very high skill. And again, it's training.
Minister Mitchell assured the forum that the government is taking the steps to improve the economy of Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama Power Company coming under fire once again, and this time religious leaders and a former power executive are appealing to Grand Bahama Power executives to help ease the burden residents are experiencing due to the high cost of electricity. Pastors, along with other members of the coalition, assembled on the grounds of the former Save More food store to voice their concerns. Joan Davis-Roll has that story.
We know that people are in business to make money, but my God, you must have mercy.
The cost of electricity on Grand Bahama is said to be among the highest in the region, and residents are saying enough is enough. Members of the religious community are calling on officials at the Grand Bahama Power Company to demonstrate compassion and not only lower its rates, but also the burden they have placed on the Bahamian people. They say a record number of Grand Bahamians are without power and living in the dark. Pastors Dwight Jennings and Nelson Bain say they are the voice for the voiceless.
People are hurting, and so we are saying that we want you to consider what we have been said here today and give us a break on the power so all Bahamians, especially Grand Bahamians, can benefit.
If this land is being good to you, you have to consider the fact that the residents in this land are contributing to the bottom line for you, and you don't have to make it all in one day. And so we stand as servants of the Lord here in this community to say, look here, one day at a time, consider those who can't speak for themselves.
Joined by members of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, former Freeport Power executive Roger Johnson presented the statistics on how the cost of electricity has more than tripled in recent times. Johnson noted that although he never worked for the present owners, it appears that officials of Emera are oblivious to the cries of the Bahamian people.
The 3 cents per kilowatt hour definitely should have fallen off once the Agreco unit project was ended. It hasn't. You are still paying it. Every one of us, all consumers are paying it. So I'm passionate about it because I feel, as a Bahamian, as an engineer, as one privileged to information, as one who can get information, we must demand an instant dropping of that 3 cents to start with. It doesn't belong anymore. They keep probably with 5 Agreco units because they said that helps them to run more safely and that sort of thing, but that ain't our business. If you run a business, it is your business to manage it properly.
Joan Davis-Roll, 7S Network News.
Now, the power company issued a response noting that energy prices remain a global concern that impacts customers, stating that it was back in 2011 when the company developed a 3-step turnaround plan to improve reliability and stabilize rates for customers, and the company is on target to achieve those goals and objectives. The company says due to significant investments in the transmission and distribution assets and a focus on the protection programs, the power company has seen dramatic improvement in the reliability of their system and a slight decrease in fuel cost since August of last year, which represents about a 7% decline in electricity cost. The power company says it's currently in negotiations with customers on the implementation of their new economic development rate as an incentive to attract new business and encourage expansion of existing industrial and commercial business in Grand Bahama. Reducing dependency on high-priced fuel is a part of the long-term strategy. Now to news from the drug court in New Providence. 35-year-old Garfield Forbes, Daniil Forbes and brothers 40-year-old Jackson Culmer and 24-year-old Cruz Culmer and Camuel Moss appeared in court today. The defendants, who are all from Grand Bahama, are accused of conspiring with others to possess dangerous drugs with the intent to supply and having the dangerous drugs with the intent to supply. The men were arrested and brought up on charges after officers here on Grand Bahama, acting on a tip, observed a suspicious van on the Warren-Labarity Highway around 12:50 Wednesday morning. Officers attempted to stop the vehicle, but the occupants refused and a chase ensued, ending on the Fishing Hole Road. Following a search of the van, police discovered several duffel bags containing marijuana weighing 2,283 pounds. The drugs have a street value of $2.3 million. The defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges. Bail was denied and they were remanded to prison. They returned to court in November for trial. Grand Bahama attorneys Carlton Sherland, Brian Hanna, and Kwesi Thompson make up the defense team. Inspector Ursel Dorset is prosecuting the case. Stay with us. The Northern Edition is coming right back.